A brief history of Muslim Iran. Decades of war with Byzantium decimate the imperial professional forces. The protracted 26-year conflict drains the imperial treasury, leaving military colonies unsupported. Internal exhaustion forces the state to abandon its military colonies in the Arabian Peninsula. The death of the great king sparks a 4-year succession crisis. Internal instability leads to the rapid rise and fall of numerous claimants to the throne. Peripheral agents, abandoned by the capital, begin seeking alliances with the rising Islamic power. The Marsban at Hajar converts to Islam, signaling a collapse of peripheral defenses. Systemic alienation of the peasantry and religious minorities weakens internal loyalty. Power decentralizes as regional families stop looking to the central court for leadership. The highly maneuverable light Arab cavalry prepares to face the rigid Sasanian formations. The Sasanian peripheral defense system collapses before the main armies even arrive. The last Sasanian emperor inherits a fractured empire, facing an ideologically driven force. In 633 CE, initial Arab incursions target fortifications along the desert borders. Local auxiliaries like the Bakr and Tughleb tribes are neutralized early in the conflict. The decisive Battle of Al-Qadisiyah begins, pitting Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas against Rustam Farrokhzad. After 3 days of combat, a blinding dust storm triggers a collapse in the Iranian defense. The death of the Sasanian commander leads to a total rout of the imperial forces. The loss of the sacred standard symbolizes the end of Sasanian spiritual and military authority. The sack of the capital ends Sasanian administration west of the Zagros Mountains. Massive imperial treasures are seized, funding further expansion of the Caliphate. The emperor flees to the interior, attempting a final grand mobilization of veterans. The Sasanians prepare for a victory of victories against the advancing Arab armies. Arab commander Numan uses a feigned retreat to trap the larger Persian force. The massacre at Nihawand, 642 CE, ends organized imperial resistance. Under the Umayyads, Iranian lands are treated as colonial possessions of an Arab-centric empire. A ruling aristocracy denies equal rights to non-Arab converts, treating them as second-class citizens. Iranians are subjected to taxes intended for non-believers, even after adopting Islam. The governor orders administrative departments to switch from Pahlavi to Arabic script. This policy of Arabization aims to undermine the influence of the traditional Persian bureaucracy. Umayyad officials use harsh branding to keep mawali on agricultural lands for tax revenue. Ethnic discrimination creates a deep-seated grievance among the newly converted populations. Discontented Persians find a home in burgeoning Shia and Kharijite movements. In the east, Arab settlers and local Iranians begin to assimilate through intermarriage. Opposition to the central authority in Damascus grows within the Persian-populated cities. The Shu'ubiyya movement emerges, asserting the cultural superiority of Persian civilization over the Bedouin. Grievances reach a tipping point, setting the stage for a total social revolution. In 747 CE, the revolution begins in Khorasan, rallying a coalition of disaffected groups. The movement enfranchises non-Arab populations, promising equality among all believers. Revolutionary forces achieve rapid success, pushing toward the heart of the empire. The victory at Nahawand marks the total collapse of Umayyad control in Iran. The Umayyad dynasty is soundly defeated, shifting the Islamic center of gravity eastward.
For the Caliphate! Charge!
The Abbasid Caliphate is established, marking a social revolution for the empire. The Abbasids found their new capital, Baghdad, near the ancient Sasanian heartland. Governance shifts to a Sasanian model, where the caliph is a divinely sanctioned autocrat. The revolution enfranchises Persians, allowing them into high-level military and administrative positions. The shift to an Iraq-based center facilitates a new multi-ethnic imperial identity. The Abbasids consciously adopt the institutional and cultural heritage of the Sasanian state. The Caliphate functions as a bridge between the Iranian past and the Islamic future. The office of the vizier is introduced, a direct institutional borrowing from the Sasanian court. This Persian family from Balkh dominates the early bureaucracy, introducing court etiquette. The tax office continues to use the land assessment methods of the Sasanian king Khosrow I. The state chancery is staffed by secretaries trained in the ancient Sasanian tradition. The postal and intelligence network mirrors the ancient Persian Shapar system. The academic infrastructure of Baghdad is modeled on the Sasanian Academy of Jundishapur. This Persian family serves as royal physicians for 8 generations, preserving medical knowledge. The introduction of paper democratizes information, facilitating theological and scientific debate. The Iranian nobility converts to Islam to maintain their property and social status. Conversion is driven by economic factors, including tax relief and cash incentives. The Shu'biya movement argues that Persian civilization is superior to Arab traditions. Iranian administrative expertise allows the Caliphate to function with unmatched efficiency. As the central power of Baghdad fractures, native Iranian Muslim dynasties begin to rise. The Safarid dynasty in Sistan represents a militant rejection of Abbasid control. Yaqub refuses to acknowledge the caliph, relying on his local Persian identity and military strength. The Samanid Empire in Transoxiana becomes the true heart of the Persian Renaissance. Under Samanid patronage, Dari becomes a literary and administrative language. The Samanids foster a native identity, claiming descent from Sasanian generals. Bukhara and Samarkand become world-class intellectual hubs that rival Baghdad. This Shia Iranian family seizes control of western Iran and Iraq. The caliph is reduced to a Umayyad puppet, marking a significant psychological victory for Iranians. The Umayyads consciously revive Sasanian symbols, including the title King of Kings. The persistence of Iranian customs and festivals testaments to the strength of the cultural synthesis. Native sovereignty allows for a resurgence of indigenous culture within a Muslim framework. Around 1010 CE, Ferdowsi completes the Shahnameh, an epic poem of Iran's mythic past. The heroic age of the poem features battles for justice against foreign threats. The poem provides linguistic continuity, allowing the Persian tongue to survive the impact of Islam. The work weaves myth and history into a narrative of national identity. A mathematician from Khwarezm develops algebra as a separate discipline. His work remains the standard medical reference in Europe and the Islamic world for 600 years. This physician pioneers the diagnostic distinction between smallpox and measles. He reforms the Persian calendar to a level of accuracy not surpassed for centuries. Rational inquiry and theological debate characterize this golden age of achievement.
The proofs of God's existence are clear and undeniable. They are a matter of opinion, and that is much more complicated.
Folklore adapts as Iranians reinvent their past to fit a new religious context. Intellectual achievements are overwhelmingly driven by Persian polymaths. Persian scholars integrate pre-Islamic wisdom with new Islamic inquiries to benefit the world. In the 11th century, nomadic Oghuz tribes introduce a new ethnic element to Iran. The Seljuks quickly become Persianate, adopting the Persian language for their government. This Persian master of politics organizes the empire using a blend of Sasanian and Sunni ideals. A network of higher education institutes is established to train the administrative elite. The state courts Sufi masters to provide spiritual legitimacy to Turkic rulers. Mystical branches of Islam expand, appealing to the enduring Iranian spirit. A Sasanian palace feature, the Four-Iwan plan, is adapted for religious architecture. This mosque becomes the definitive prototype for the new architectural style. Nizam al-Mulk oversees engineering breakthroughs that allow for larger constructions. The evolution of decorative arts creates a journey of discovery through time. By the 10th century, the synthesis of a distinct Iranian Islamic identity is complete. Iran is Islamized but not Arabized. The spirit of Iran Shah survives and thrives.